What's up, everybody? I am Steve, and with me, as always, is D, and you are watching Conversations with Cabys, the only show on the internet that will always rage against the machine. What up, D?
What's going on, Steve? It's a good week this week. I'm going to talk about some exciting stuff. I'm really pumped about this one. So lay it on me, brother. What do we got going on?
This is gonna be a good week. It was a good music week. First off, we're gonna talk a little music news, and then kind of roll into one of our faves, one of our favorite bands. And as the title of this episode, and obviously of the title of my one line is Rage Against the Machine. Got some really big music news, and kind of just gonna go over Rage. If you're not acclimated to Rage Against the Machine, I'm sorry. You're about to get an education today, and it will be a very good education, and you will go and understand the awesomeness that is Rage Against the Machine.
All the way back in the 90s to present day, coming back, doing some new stuff.
It's gonna be
Haven't
good.
heard anything from them in years. So
It's gonna be
this
good. I
is
mean, they did
exciting.
some stuff a little bit. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first off, let's do the first one real quick. Get this one out of the way. With some cool shit coming out of Queens of the Stone Age's frontman Josh Homme. Firstly, if you don't know about his desert sessions are these collab missions out in Joshua Tree, California, where they just get stupid on various drugs and record crazy shit. He started Desert Sessions after he left probably like one of my favorite bands, Caius. Caius is amazing stoner rock, um, and stoner rock's like a genre. It's where it's mellow with fat ass guitar, like all the time fat ass guitar, and really kind of swingy rhythm section. But just mellow lyrics, mellow train, like a mellow drive throughout the whole thing, and that's what Caius is to me.
But it's a heavy mellow. It's a heavy mellow.
Sure,
Like,
right. It's fat ass riffs. It's
yeah.
fat riffs, like massive substance in these songs, and they're all just crazy. It's just good shit. It's really good shit. And Caius is a great example of that. Monster Magnet is another really good example of that. Soundgarden to a certain extent, although they became kind of a the first album, Black Hole, the no, well, Soundgarden. But regardless, their first couple albums were kind of stoner rocky, but not as much. So when Josh Homme left Caius in '97, he did the first Desert Session with Monster Magnet peeps, Soundgarden peeps, and some other peeps. I believe Clutch, lead singer Clutch, was in there too, and I think a bunch of members of Caius was in there too. Caius is another episode. We'll do kind of a stoner rocky, Caius-y episode later on. But a new Desert Session has come out. We haven't had a Desert Session in 16 years. He's been doing obviously a lot of other things. Them Crooked Vultures, which is a band we'll talk about in a second, and Queens, obviously Queens of the Stone Age, which again
Yep.
is another fantastic band. What's your favorite
Don't
Queen
for,
song? What's your favorite Queen
don't,
song?
Oh man, there's a couple that come to mind right off the top of my head. Little Sister. That's a good one. That's a big hit. There's also uh, man. I gotta find it now because
Which hum a few bars. No one knows.
No One Knows is a great
No
one.
one knows. Feel good hit of the summer.
That one's good, but
Feel good. That one's a
that one's
crazy song. That's
that
really
one's a that one's a really good song. Not a lot of people have heard. Like if you've heard, like me, I don't know the extensive catalog of Queens of the Stone Age, but I've heard what's on the radio, and I've heard probably a couple of 2 to 3 deep tracks.
cocaine. So good, so good. There's 6 words of that song.
Yeah.
Seven. Sorry, 7 words of that song. It's a fantastic song, and there's 7 words to it. It's brilliant. Feel good hit of the summer. Great. No one knows. Great song. Little Sister. Great song. Lost Art of Keeping a Secret. Great song. Go with the Flow. Great
Go with
song.
the Flow. Awesome
Sick,
song.
sick, sick.
Yep, that's a great song.
That's good. That's a great one.
That one's a little more
Threes and
not.
sevens is
Man, okay, you're bringing it all back for me, bro. I love it. Oh,
Threes and
yes.
sevens is amazing. Queens is a fantastic band, folks. I mean, these are everything I'm saying. Threes and sevens, a must. Feel Good
They
Hit of the
fit
Summer,
in.
a must.
You know how I think it was 2 episodes ago we came up with that, like we coined the heavy rock genre,
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
hard rock, but
Not
the
hard rock,
heavy
but
rock.
heavy rock. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 So I think that they fit into that genre pretty well.
Queens flies around in many genres.
They dabble,
Definitely,
yes.
definitely heavy rock, but I think their roots are really in Caius, in stoner rock, in fat ass riffs with a melody that is soothing and is the driver. I mean, think about, I mean, Sick, 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 for instance. I mean, that rhythm section, the staccato rhythm section that is the swingy, in that is the driver. And the lyrics are based upon that.
Oh yeah, and
And
it's a very percussive rhythm section
exactly,
driven song
exactly, and
for sure.
that comes from. It may not have the fattest of riffs, but that comes from the stoner rock genre. He just adds in that lovely heavy rockness to it. That just the good shit. Go with the flow. That's a stoner rock song. I'm sorry, that's a
Yeah,
stoner rock song. Every day of the goddamn week. There's no. It's not like that could be a Caius track. If it
it
was a
really could.
Caius, if it was a
I
Caius track,
would
it would probably have 3 more minutes of a solo in there. That's just fucking stupid. But
I wouldn't be surprised though if you told me that was from Caius. I
right,
would be like, yep,
right.
okay, I
Little
believe it.
Sister is too poppy for Caius,
It is.
but it's along that same line. There's stoner rock. There's that genre in it quite a bit. So,
Um,
again, Queens, amazing.
then we haven't mentioned this one yet. Eagles of death metal.
Eagles is great, and Eagles is interesting because they're not as great. They're good, but I don't find them as relatable, I guess. That's probably the
They
best term for it. Relatable.
relatable in the sense that some of the same members are in it, but not relatable in maybe the genre of music.
Right. It's
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. What's my favorite song by them? Uh Probably, man. I got nothing. Speaking in the Tongues. There you go. That's my favorite song, Speaking in Tongues. That's a great track. Speaking in Tongues is really, really good. I Want You So Hard is also very good. Those are and I guess maybe I haven't heard enough of Eagles just because I like those 2 tracks, and that's about. I've heard maybe a couple others that weren't great off the album, specifically the album, because I had the Eagles Peace, Love, and Death Metal, where Speaking in Tongues was on. Death by Sexy I had as well, and I've listened to both of them full, and there were just tracks that weren't as good to me, and that probably is obviously a mixture of things, and that's with everybody. You can get a mixture of. You can just not be digging on something, but 5 years later come back to it and fucking love it. You know what I mean?
Hey, that happened with me on several artists and albums. No, this one I just wanted to mention this one though. So I feel like this one's like an honorable mention.
For sure. I
Kind
mean,
of
it's
thing.
definitely one of his side projects, if you will. He doesn't play. He doesn't sing in that one. He just plays guitar in that, and backing vocals, obviously. But yeah, new Desert Sessions coming out, and this one is going to feature Billy Gibbons
Oh,
and Les Claypool,
I didn't hear about that one. Oh, that's awesome.
amongst other things, very other ones, people that nobody's really heard of, like very, very niche people. And that's the great thing about this. He just takes people from every fucking genre, goes out, they get fucking fucked up on DMT or psilocybins, and just write crazy fucking shit.
Or I've heard even peyote is one of their...
Yeah, peyote was a big one in '97. I would imagine they've gone a little bit beyond that at this stage of the game, but peyote was a big one in '97. They also had a lot of Native American influences around that time. The Desert Sessions were really it was really a like a Native American medicine man. We all go to this cabin out here in the middle of fucking nowhere, literally in the middle of the desert, just fucking straight up in the middle of the desert. We're sweating our asses off and just writing crazy music.
Yep.
And dude's just in one room writing a riff while another one's fucking writing lyrics, while another one's on the keys doing some shit. Every room is filled with just crazy music going on. And then you go in the studio and record. You put it on tape and record it. It's just an insane environment. And Josh Homme basically says that it is like a recharge for my creative spirit. Like it's a I'll get the quote here for it, but it's been so long for him. You can tell that he's, excited about getting back into it.
Well, and what's I'm excited about is them Crooked Vultures.
For sure. For sure.
We know who they are, but for the people who don't, that is a group, a super group, technically, with Dave Grohl, Josh Homme,
and John Paul
Jones
on the bass. Like the fattest of fat bass players, the bass player of Led Zeppelin, if I had to say that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Josh Homme is lead guitar, vocals, and Dave Grohl plays the drums, and he's back behind the kit, and he's fucking killing it. It's
going to town.
It's fucking great. I wish they had more time, honestly, dude, because the first album was really good. New Fang, the track that was on the single that was on the radio, amazing fucking track. I listened to Mind Eraser No Chaser is a really good song. Gunman is a good song. Let's see. Reptiles, I think. It was either Reptiles or Elephants was good. And Dead and Friends was good. Like, it's a damn fine album. It's not everyone's cup of tea because it's technical as fuck. But that's just three virtuosos trying to get in the room and
make something together.
Yeah.
And
right.
From different decades too. I mean, you're talking John Paul Jones been doing this since the early 70s.
Dave Grohl and Josh Homme are in the same era. I mean, fuck,
they are
in
together
Cochise from way early 90s, late 80s, I think even. So they're in the same genre, like same decade, the same point in history. But yeah, I mean, John Paul Jones, I mean,
he's an icon, man.
He's an icon. He's been not in a ton, and this is really the first supergroup he kind of chose. Like the man could do whatever the hell he wanted. Let's be fucking frank here. And he chose to do this, and that speaks a lot of the talent of Dave Grohl and Josh Homme.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, Josh Homme said that he was like that they had gotten into the studio recently, and they're talking that he's ready to go into, and a cheeky hint at next year, basically.
Well, that's a big statement. That's a big statement because we just talked a couple episodes about how Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Well, but if they're in the can already and their shit's pretty well, like if they're in the studio right now recording it, you know what I mean?
So you think this would be the next step after Foo Fighters?
I think Dave wants to get in the studio and do this one before he goes out on the road with Foo Fighters for the new album. You know what I'm saying? It gets it in the can, and then potentially them Crooked Vultures could open up some shows and things like that whenever, in Cali or something, and they both could play. He could play both.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
You know what I'm saying? That's a good way to go. Especially, it's the smart way to do it, too. And ultimately, he doesn't have to do... Yes, it's exhausting to play the drums. Do not fucking get me wrong on that sense. But it also is very exhausting to play rhythm guitar, lead rhythm guitar and sing, because he plays a lead rhythm, whereas Pat Smear plays true rhythm, and then Chris Shiflett plays fucking the sick lead, the fatty fat lead on his that sexy telly. He fucking god, fat ass shit. And Dave Grohl's probably gonna be on this Desert Session, those type of things. Dave Grohl does pretty well everything. Josh Homme and Dave Grohl are like pretty good friends. But 2 volumes, Volume 11 and Volume 12, will be... they just came out. So that is something we need to look for. We haven't... This is kind of a preview here. We haven't actually listened to it, but I thought they were coming out. Honestly, I didn't know they were coming out. I thought they were coming out middle of this month. So very interesting and exciting to see that. And then, obviously, the good news about them Crooked Vultures. We'll have this Rolling Stone article in the description for you guys. But let's get rid of the elephant in the room here about the fantastic announcement that Rage are getting back together.
Absolutely, man. It's been a while, and I don't know how the general audience out there feels about Rage Against the Machine. We personally love them. There's a lot of criticism about Rage from the general public in regards to, you know, all of their songs sound the same, or, you know, it's the same, you know, the same vocals, just the different music or whatever. I don't care what you have to say. I love Rage.
I don't
Always
agree
have, always
necessarily
will.
with the same. I agree 100%. Sorry to cut you off there, but I don't agree that it's. See, we can get into technicals here, and I think that's what we should do is get into the technicals with that. So bring that back up in a second. Let's talk about dates real quick because they're getting back together for multiple dates in 2020, starting in March. And there's a couple reasons for this, and that kind of ties into what you're talking about with some of that criticism as well. March 26th in El Paso, the 28th in New Mexico, the 30th in Arizona, and then they're headlining Coachella both days, both weekends. The 10th and the 17th of April. And they did this in 2016. He released some in 2007, they did, that was kind of the last time Rage got together, and that was right around the 2008 election. It is 2020 election. Again, we don't get into politics on this show at all.
Nope.
Don't even fucking touch it. But there's a reason why they're getting together, and it's because they're kind of a politically driven band. If you want to get there, you know, Tom Morello is obviously African American. He's a minority. Zach De La Rocha is, wow.
I think he's.
I would
Brazilian.
imagine, yeah. He is definitely. He's a minority, obviously, of some sort.
Yeah.
He's unique as shit, though. So, like, I don't want to peg him down to something, you know, like, get very specific with that nationality there. But he's interesting as shit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean,
but yeah, they've always been
done
outspoken.
A lot of Mexican. He's apparently a Mexican American father. And a German and Irish mother. So, take with that what you will, but a minority nonetheless. His father was Mexican American. And he's done a ton with the Mexican Revolution as far as the flag and the what was that? What's that on? God, I'm horrible for fucking not remembering this. The Cuban
Renegades.
Renegades of Funk was great, but it's the man. It starts with the C. Horrible.
Cuban.
No.
I'm Cuban, B.
There we go. Let's do that. It's the guy with the hat. Regardless.
But yeah, they've always
don't care.
They've always been politically outspoken.
Right.
They've always been
Zach De La Rocha and Tom Morello specifically have been the lead guitarist and the lead singer. Tim Comerford and Brian Wilk haven't been as vocal, in my opinion, about it. They kind of are just the rhythm section and play music. They're professional musicians, and they just kind of do that shit. They're not. They're also, I would imagine, the two white guys in the band, so they're like, I don't really have I totally agree with this, but I also have no business. You know what I mean? I'm not oppressed, so I have no business fucking talking about this. You know what I mean?
This is not my fight. I'm just along to support.
I fucking wholeheartedly support the fight, and I am not a bigot, but I also, I don't want to step on anybody's toes by speaking out of turn, acting like, you know, I'm oppressed. Because you guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a very slippery slope.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
One you don't want to cross in that regard. You know what I mean? Especially when you're a musician and on the public eye and things like that. But nevertheless, this is what kind of the spin on this particular story from Forbes was saying. And again, Forbes is take that as you will, but Forbes is basically spinning it that they came out around election year last in 2008, and it's 2020, so they're doing it again. But I'm excited nonetheless. Don't give a shit.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
Totally makes perfect sense.
Especially with Trump up for re-election 2020.
Right.
I mean, they're probably having something to say about that. And if for no other reason, I wouldn't be surprised if that was enough for them to come back together and write a new album.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I
But
mean, Rage. Let's just get back to Rage as far as that goes. I mean, the Grammy Awards, the singles, and coming back to that, I think that really their political stance is the reason why people shit on them. Because they're outspoken politically is the reason why people say that their shit sucks. And that to me is really the true shame in that, because they're a fucking amazing band. Yes, Tom Morello puts in the spin of Tom Morello, but that is the way he plays guitar. He's also like an electrician.
electrical engineer,
Like
he understands.
Yeah, he fucking is a genius when it comes to every guitar he gets, he breaks it completely down and puts the shit he wants in it, and makes his own pedals and makes all of his own shit. So you can't. Yes, it sounds the riffs are not the same. So I'll throw that one out. Just sorry, the riffs are not the same, and it's some of them aren't in the same key. So whatever. But yes, they have that Tom Morello-ness to it, but the reason why it sounds like that is because nobody else to do it, because he fucking made it.
Right, and that's exactly what makes him unique, is that exact thing. If not anything else, which there are many other reasons that make him
100%.
unique, that is the number one thing that you can count on every time, that he has a unique sound, and you can identify that sound when you hear it.
And he's a professional musician, and I'm sure when he started, he was like, what's my niche going to be? I can't be like every other guitar player. Well, I'm also really good at this. Let me figure out how to incorporate my tech side into this and make the guitar sound the way I want it to. You know, I already know how to play. Before he got into Rage, he has, let's see, this is, I don't want to speak out of turn, but he went to fucking Harvard. Don't mind that. That's just people yelling. He went to Harvard and was doing like local fairs, right? Like the medieval festivals and you know what I'm saying? Like Renaissance fairs, right? He was a fucking bard at a Renaissance fair.
Nice.
And he was doing his homework underneath the trees at the Renaissance fair in his fucking kit with his guitar, just playing fucking shit. I mean, that's how he kept his chops up. He's a fucking seasoned musician. That's why he plays the way he does. If you ever look at Tom Morello, how high he holds that guitar up is a classically trained musician. Yeah, you don't hold your guitar like that unless you're fucking really good, basically.
He started at age 13.
Right.
With his first cover band called Nebula. He was the lead singer, and they covered bands like Led Zeppelin, Steve Miller Band, Bachman Turner Overdrive.
He purchased his first guitar in '82 and started studying then.
And he's 55 years old now.
Right. But we're all old. It's okay.
Oh yeah, we're all gonna die, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He's still fucking amazing, and he has a solo project called The Watchman, but he's been in various other bands. Zach De La Rocha has done one other thing. Zach De La Rocha, again being the lead singer, has done one other thing. A band called One Day As a Lion, which released one album in 2008. I enjoyed that album. It was good. It was the Mars Volta's vocalist, lyricist from Mars Volta. The Mars Volta guy also played keys. Drummer John Theodore. And they released, there was the singles was One Day As a Lion, and Wild International, but One Day As a Lion is a single that I think everybody pretty much knows, you know what I mean?
Wild International, I feel, was Zach De La Rocha's stab at trying to bring Rage influence into that band.
Right. And
it kind of worked, but it was a good song for what it was, but it wasn't. He was trying really hard to make that Rage sound come through.
For sure. But it's just hard with Mars Volta is a very difficult band. They're like math rock. And
They're like stoner math rock.
well, right, they got yeah, but most math has really really fat riffs too. But they're not subtle really. They don't have that their drive, okay, their drive isn't percussion. On Mars Volta. Their drive is the in between notes in the guitar riffs. Most of the guitar riffs or keyboard riffs, depending. Basically, either and half the time the guitar is the melody, right? So it's these little in betweeners that is this weird driver. It's kind of like God damn it, the song "Creep."
Which one?
Radiohead.
Radiohead. Okay.
So they're kind of like Radiohead in that sense. Like Radiohead is like the first math rock. Like they didn't do it as crazy as what the people in math rock do now, but they're kind of like the first one where they made just songs so fucking intricately crazy, for no reason other than to make them intricately crazy. That's what math rock does. So Mars Volta is a tough band to kind of get into and bring Zach De La Rocha's spin onto it, right?
Agreed.
But yeah, so there was, I mean, Rage Against the Machine. What are we going to talk about here? What, Bulls on Parade, People of the Sun, Sleep Now in the Fire, No
Renegades
Shelter, Guerrilla Radio, Renegades of Funk. I mean, what? There's just so many great singles that they had, but basically every album was a great album.
Killin in the Name of, don't forget that.
Killin in the Name of. Wake Up, the end track to fucking Matrix.
Yep.
I mean,
Bomb Track.
Probably my favorite Raid song. Probably. Bomb Track is fucking amazing. Yeah, just an amazing band. And definitely one, if you have not given Rage a shot, give them a try. And I'm sure that Coachella performance is going to be on YouTube. Fucking watch these guys. We said, what did we say? Tom Morello? Motherfucker's 55. Watch that Coachella right now. I'm saying
that dude is going to jam harder. Him and Zach De La Rocha are going to get up there and they are going to tear that place apart.
It's going to be obscene. It's going to be an obscene show. It's going to be amazing. And at the ages they are, they will rock harder than anybody. And that's a testament to how amazing of a band they are and were. But unfortunately, they did break up. They broke up in 2000. No,
it was later.
They released Renegades in 2000.
It was later than that.
Yeah, it was right around there, though. It was right around there. 2003.
I was like 04, maybe.
Tom Morello began his own solo in 03. Yeah. Right around there. See, that's the weird thing. They didn't really break up. They went into so basically everybody from Rage went into a band called Audioslave after Rage broke up. If you have not heard of Audioslave, you're missing out. It's Chris Cornell's band. Again, from the Josh Homme stuff, Chris Cornell was in one of the Desert Sessions. He was the former lead singer and rhythm guitar player for Soundgarden. Again, an amazing band, and we'll do a grunge episode where that one's, sorry y'all, the grunge episode's gonna be like 2 hours. It's gonna be stupid long, but you can't fit. We may have to do that one in chunks. Anyway, that's Soundgarden, an amazing band. And basically Temple of the Dog also with that, but we'll talk about that.
And Nirvana and Pearl Jam and everybody else that goes with that.
Everybody. But so Soundgarden broke up, and Chris Cornell needed a new band, and they formed Audioslave with everybody: Tom Morello, Tim Comerford, and Brian Wilk. So everybody from Rage, except for Zach De La Rocha, and made 3 amazing albums.
Oh yeah, I mean, Cochise,
their first single blew your mind when you first heard that song. Like, you did not know the way that comes in is an amazing track. There's two versions of it, and I prefer the long one. The long one's harder to sing, because he just is Chris Cornell was.
He puts his Chris Cornell spin on it.
Right, Chris Cornell was a amazing
vocalist. Oh my god,
ridiculous! We lost a great one there, man. He died in 2017.
That I got to tell you, there was a lot of people between 2015 and 2018.
Right.
There was a lot of musical legends and big influencers and people that were role modeling themselves after and inspired by. And Chris Cornell, for me, I mean, that alongside with Chester Bennington, those two guys were two guys that I really felt like when they passed, I was like, damn, we lost.
Hurt.
Yeah. I mean, there was many others. Tom Petty, recently.
Petty was a big one, but
those two in this particular genre.
Well, they died a month apart as well. Same fucking day, a month apart, and then the same exact way. They both supposedly commit suicide.
Right. And if you haven't seen this, just FYI, if you haven't seen the collab that Chester Bennington and
oh my god,
Chris Cornell did of "Going Hungry,"
that is an amazing fucking collab. It's great. YouTube it. It's if I can find it, I'll bonus it in the description. But it is
put
amazing.
The link down there. Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. But around 2007 to about 20. No, they formed in 2000. Yeah, Rage broke up in 2000.
Really?
Audioslave came out in 2002.
Damn.
Yeah.
But were they? But like you said, they never actually broke up.
Right.
They just
stopped. They just kind of stopped. And right. And so Audioslave came out in 2002. Out of Exile came out in 2004, and Revelations is 06, and then they broke up in 07.
I mean, you got so many good songs off that album. You got, like we said, Cochise. You've got Like a Stone. You've got what is it? Highway. What is it?
Highway. Yeah, like that's
something Highway. I thought.
I Am the Highway.
I Am the Highway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole album, that was another
like
album.
Like a Stone, Cochise. I mean, Shadow of the Sun was good.
Yeah.
What you
Gasoline.
That whole album is amazing. Gasoline is probably one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Probably. Getaway Car is great. Last Remaining Light is great.
Yeah.
Set It Off, though, is definitely my favorite song off that album. Set It Off is a fire fucking track, man. And it is about, if you want to talk about something that's about oppression, that song's essentially about Martin Luther King without being Martin Luther King. Like, without saying Martin Luther King. Set It Off is an amazing fucking track. Like, love that song. And it's intricate in so many ways, and just the detail work on that track is great. The vocal on that track is sick as fuck. Yeah, Light My Way, Gasoline, like all of it. That whole album is
amazing. What I would have loved to have seen while he was still on this earth is Chris Cornell, Zach De La Rocca getting together with Audioslave / Rage Band and doing a collab together.
Some shit. Yes.
Oh my god,
yeah, that would have been dope. But I'm gonna be the elephant in the room there and say that those two personalities are too big to share the same stage. Unfortunately.
Nope, couldn't do it.
I mean, yeah. But that whole album is amazing. And then Out of Exile was really, really good. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. Doesn't Remind Me is off of that one. Be Yourself is off of that one.
Be Yourself's a good one.
Your Time Has Come is off of that one. Let's see. Yeah, Sound of a Gun was off Revelations. That was good.
Oh, wow, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Sound of a Gun's a great track.
That is a good one.
It's just so good. So Revelations is kind of like they did a bunch of covers with that one, but it's still really, really, really good. And Audioslave was an amazing band, and they broke up a little early, but definitely one that everybody should check out if you have not. And kind of after those broke, like Audioslave broke up, the rhythm section of Rage Against the Machine did some solo work with Maynard James Keenan. Maynard James Keenan's side project, Pussifer.
Yeah.
And did the Vias for Vagina track, that album, and did fucking did basically the bass and the rhythm section for a track called Mama Said. And then in 2013, they did a track, Time Slowing Down, on Dave Grohl's Sound City album, to bring it all the way back again to Josh Homme. Like, I think we could do 6 Degrees of Separation with Dave Grohl for music.
Dude, he has had his
He's
hand
the through
in
line in so much shit. Like, dude, I really could. Like, I could probably, if you fucking watch every single one of these music episodes, I guarantee Dave Grohl's mentioned in somewhere in them, because he's fucking in everything. And yeah, anyway, so that's what the rhythm section, Brian Milk and Tim Comerford, did before they got into this new endeavor that's kind of coming around, that still is active even with Rage getting back together, doing these shows. It is Prophets of Rage.
Well, you don't skip over the one that we probably should give an honorable mention to. And that doesn't involve
well,
Chris Cornell,
it
doesn't involve Zach De La Rocha.
Tom Morello's other side project, True, is before we get to Prophets, because Prophets has Tom Morello. It brings Tom Morello back into this conversation. So yeah, we've talked about the rhythm section, but Tom Morello has been into Night Watchman. His solo, Tom Morello and the Night Watchman, has been his solo effort. What he does in his spare time, if he fucking has any. It's kind of a folk. He almost he wants to tell the African American side of Bob Dylan-esque music. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to tell stories that way, but tell the stories of his oppression and the oppression that he saw. You know what I mean? Really cool stuff. The Night Watchman's a very interesting band. Very, very cool. But he did a stint in, and it says here that they're still active. Now, that's neither here nor there, but they came together in 2006 and really kind of did some stuff in 2007. Street Sweeper Social Club. Say that one.
Street Sweeper Social Club, baby.
A great band.
Bootsy Collins.
Boots Riley from the Coop.
Or Boots Riley, sorry.
Yeah, Boots Riley from the Coop. And who else is in this one? It's just they're saying it's just them, and it's apparently everybody else is just backers.
Right.
It's a backing band. It's Tom Morello and Boots Riley is what they say is the actual members of this. Touring members are Dave Gibbs on bass, Scott Guzman on drums, Daniel Durick on flute, basically secondary percussion and woodwinds, and Carl Restivo. Yeah, so some touring musicians, that do it. But yeah, so Street Sweeper Social Club was great.
They had a good album. They had a really good album.
Really good album.
They toured on that album for probably 2 to 3 years, I would say.
I would say, yeah. I mean, they released it in 2009, but the EP, we saw that EP for Promenade. That's on Promenade.
Mm-hmm.
100 Little Curses was a great track.
100 Little Curses, yep. That was their breakout hit.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was very, very good album. Short-lived as far as just this really one release. Now that's a better year's active. It's to 2010 and they're on hiatus right now, so they haven't actually broke up or anything. They're just all busy people. They did a really cool "Mama Said Knock You Out" cover. That was good. Like that. So
that was
basically
a throwback to
LL Cool J, baby.
LL Cool J, that's
Little
right.
LL Cool J jam. Mama said knock your boots. Fucking saying Mama said knock you out with Tom Morello's guitar is just, I could take that. That's all right. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Promenade I loved. Promenade was a great fucking track. And 100 Little Curses was really a really good song too. Maybe overplayed a little bit. But there wasn't
For
much
the
other
time.
singles. There wasn't any other singles. I would love to see a new one from these guys. Hopefully you'll be seeing another episode, another music episode on the new album from them coming out soon, because that would be really fucking nice.
I feel like, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like Street Sweeper Social Club was kind of like what Rage Against the Machine would have been if they decided to go pop and mainstream and like just try to fit in.
That is a very oxymoronical statement to say when you're talking about Boots Riley.
It is, because he is an anti-establishment kind of against the grain guy.
So is Tom Morello, but Boots Riley is a lyricist who will talk about the hypocrisy in the world. Like,
yeah,
to make a whole song about it. It's
but
very interesting that you're describing it that way.
I don't mean vocally. I mean, but the music was like.
But you're playing with touring musicians, so you have to keep it easy, right? You're not playing with real musicians, so the back end music has to be Nashville number system ease, where, okay, 357, go, and let's do this shit, and I'll do everything else. Like Tom tells that for fucking percussion, 357, I'm gonna do everything else. Stay in the pocket. Key G. Let's roll. Like he has to. So it's gonna be very poppy when you have to distill your art down to lowest common denominator to when you're not a full band. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that too bold of a statement? I don't think it's too bold of a
I
statement.
don't think so. I think that kind of further details what I was trying to say.
But yeah, so I dig them, and I would love to see a new album come out for sure. But the other side of this coin is essentially we need to make money. We're musicians. We're professional musicians and need to make money. We come into Prophets of Rage, the new endeavor that the former members of Rage Against the Machine are putting together with Chuck D and DJ Lord from Public Enemy and Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Be Real.
I mean, Be Real and Chuck D, they have a couple singles that are their own. I'm not saying that they don't do their own shit, but they're relying on Public Enemy tracks and Rage Against the Machine tracks. And they don't really have a ton, like an album per se. It's kind of like an EP with a couple of their tracks on it. And I'm not sure legality-wise if they're allowed to release the album. I mean, I'm sure they are, and certain members of Prophets of Rage would get money for it because they are, contributing writers on those songs. But you'd also be giving Zach De La Rocha some money, which, again, isn't a big deal, but, just, DJ Lord, Chuck D, and fucking Be Real want to do that. I don't know. So I'm not really sure how the album progression is going to work. They're just an interesting band because they just play fucking their own shit. It's interesting. It's like a fucking Rage Against the Machine, Public Enemy, and Cypress Hill cover band. Because they
exactly.
And then you have the song Prophets of Rage, which is a good track. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Unfuck the World I enjoyed, but Unfuck the World is a very hard song to get mainstream and actually be a single for you because it's called Unfuck the World.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I need to say. It's called Unfuck the World, so you're not going to make a single. You can't. Like, people don't do that. And it's unfortunate that we can't. But because it's a good song. But Pop Goes the Weapon wasn't bad either. That's kind of their newest one that I heard. And yeah, so I think they're going to keep going, and it would be cool for me, I think, to really see a full-fledged album from these guys. For real. Like, I think it would be interesting.
For me, I have not heard lots from these guys. As a matter of fact, I don't even know. I think I've heard one song, and that might have been the Prophets of Rage song.
And then obviously the other covers, right?
The covers,
have you heard them cover the covers? Like, have you heard them cover those songs? Have you heard them do that?
I think I've heard The one you mentioned with the Public Enemy cover. I heard that.
Yeah, Shut 'Em Down was a Public Enemy cover. No Sleep Till Cleveland is their rework of No Sleep Till Brooklyn by the Beastie Boys. Killing in the Name of is one they do.
I heard that one.
I watched the Hollywood Bowl performance of them from 2017, and that was pretty good. But it's like I said, these are just musicians doing the work of, but it's essentially karaoke. It's not karaoke, but it's a cover band. It's like we're a cover band,
Sure.
and I think they're more talented than that. I guess. You know what I mean? Certainly, all of them are more talented than that.
Let me ask you this: do you think that Rage getting back together, the original Rage Against the Machine, do you think them getting back together is going to spawn a new album as well?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I would be fucking happy as all shit if they would. Obviously, let's fucking do that. That sounds great. But I don't think they can. I think there's a very political I kind of am in agreement that this is a very political motivated endeavor with them getting back together, which I'm okay with. That's their prerogative. We get great music out of it. You know, we get great live shows.
You think this is just going to be like get back together, play a lot of the old songs we were, get back on
100%.
the main bill, and
the reason so all right, we're gonna bookend with this. We're gonna close it out with this. My explanation of kind of this whole reunion thing. I dig on it. I love it. But let's look at this. El Paso, Texas on March 26th. La Cruces, New Mexico. I'm butchering that. I'm sorry, people from New Mexico. I apologize. On March 28th, Phoenix, Arizona on March 30th, and then Indigo, April 10th and 17th, right? They're doing a hard press 3-day show, 3 days of shows back to back, with 2 days in between because they're old, but it's their damn right. Fuck yeah, they were great musicians. Let's fucking we're gonna take a 2-day break in between so Zach De La Rocha can get his voice back and all that stuff. But these 3 shows are the prep shows. They're the warm up shows to get them to headline this. That's it. I mean, I'm unveiling the curtain here for you of how production worked on this particular tour. It's like, okay, we need about 3 shows to know that we're 100% again, that we know our chops are back, and we work out all the kinks, tighten up the screws. Brian needs to tighten up the screws on the drums. We need to work out the kinks on the vocals. Dave needs to work out the riffs.
Tom, you're good.
Tom's fine. Fuck that. We're okay. But you got it. It's okay. These 3 shows are our kink shows, and then we'll headline Coachella and rock it, and that's it. See you in 16 years. I mean, it's not, and it sucks. Like, I'd love for it to be more.
You think this is like a one-time deal? Like they're getting together for this season and the season only, and after that they're gonna.
This is exactly like 2008, 100% like 2008, exactly like it. Like, can't even get more similar. It can't. Like, they did the exact same thing.
Okay.
They did the exact same thing in 2007. Literally the exact same thing. They announced it and did some shows and did probably a similar number, and then that was it. I think maybe no, I'll take that back. I think they did 12 shows. So it was more then, but Tom Morello's 55. I mean, he certainly doesn't want to tour again like that. Like a new Rage album would be. Like, so you are Rage Against the Machine. Let's think about it this way. And this will be a great closer. Let's think about it this way. You're Rage Against the Machine. You are idolized by millions and millions and millions of people. Millions of people love your music. You don't want to tarnish that image. We went out on a high note. Why the fuck would we come back to disappoint? Not that it would be a disappointment, but there's always that risk.
There is. Metallica's proven that, and then we're going to talk about Metallica for just the bookend of this, because we can't not mention them.
Metallica's also, if you look at every episode, Metallica's a fucking through line throughout all of them, because so that's the good and the bad. The yin and the yang to all music is Dave Grohl and Metallica. And with that, my friends, I think we're going to call it a night. Good show. If you like this, and if you're here till the end, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Do all that YouTube bullshit. If you don't, just watch us. That's cool too. I like knowing that you're out there. My very special friends.
If you're not digging on it, then guess what? You don't have to watch. It's okay.
It's cool because we're gonna be talking about it anyway, and that's our first shirt. We would be talking about it anyway, so we might as well hit the record button. So look for that soon. I don't know if we'll have it up for your stocking stuffers at Christmas, but I think that's gonna be our first shirt.
I agree. It's a good one.
And with that, folks, remember to love each other. You guys have a good week. We'll see you back here Wednesday for another non-music podcast. And then look out for Free For All Fridays is our funny ass blooper shits. So they're great. You're gonna love the next one. They're all fucking funny. It's great.
We're gonna be chock full of them, folks. So don't worry. Every Friday coming at you.
You can count on us to do a lot of dumb shit. And with that, have a good night.
Peace out, everybody.